Hey House Music Heads, this is Habibi Grooves from Berlin House Music, and we're back at you with another weekly update on some events in the weekend, some reaction videos, and some juicy comments that I found actually, which we're going to read up later on. So, let's get into it. So the first event we're going to be taking a look at is one at Bulbul, Berlin, and it's called Home of House. And who's playing here is AMAU, B2B with Neo, Bruder Jakob, I think it's a cool name, Gregor Roast, Tommy Hash, B2B with Artemis. And this one is tonight, Friday, at Bulbul. Moving on to the next one, which is Paloma Invites. And I saw this and I really love the lineup because I know all three of the people who are playing. The first one is Jana Falcon, Marit, which is also a part of Berlin House Music. We're doing an event together also at Renate at one point this month actually. We'll update you on that later on. And Zola. Those three are playing at Paloma tonight. 3rd of November, Friday, yes. So, without a further ado, let's go straight into the one and only party of Saturday, the 4th, yes, the 4th of November, which is Small Great House by Small Great Things, and it's going to take place at Oxy. This is actually my crew. I'm one of the residents of this crew. Super lovely people. It's always such a lovely vibe being at the parties, playing at the parties, and you have all the lovely house people coming around. It's a very nice meeting point, I would say, also just for super positive house vibes and super high quality house as well. And yeah, so the people who are going to be playing are David Silver, Luca Olivotto, Quadraki, Eva Crystal Tips, Marek Brauner, Carlo Maltitz, Szymanski, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, DJ Merci, super lovely dude as well, Javier Anxiety, Billy Idol, Francesco Mami, and Bowen. And yeah, it's a super lovely venue as well. I really love it. It's Oxy, it used to be Polygon, before that Cosmonaut, but yeah, it's 2 separate floors basically, and it's super nice. I really like it. And this is actually the only recommendation I have for this Saturday, because I think if you're into the house music and you're basically into the Berlin house music thing, this is definitely the party that you need to go to. So yeah, and I'm gonna be there as well. Cool. So that's it for the events for this weekend. And now we're going to jump into, before we're going into the reaction videos, we're going to jump into something else. So the juicy juice that I found online, as you can see, I'm reading from my laptop here. Yeah, I was basically wondering about, let's say, people who leave, let's say, reviews on clubs. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna check out Berghain and what kind of comments or reviews people left on TripAdvisor about Berghain, right? So there is a filter function, and you can look at like 5 stars or different kind of stars. I was interested in the 1-star rating, and I wanted to see what would people basically write in the 1-star rating. And yeah, it's pretty cool to read. I think I saw some juicy stuff in advance. And so my only assumption could be is that people have been rejected at Berghain, that's why they read it like very badly, or they had a very bad experience. Obviously, not trying to do any negative kind of association with the club. I just find it super funny what people would write after being rejected at Berghain. So let's get into it. So one dude says, "Not today, guys," with stupid voice. "First time ever I got rejected on a club. I went to another the same night and was nice. Don't waste your time here if you're a tourist. Yeah, well, understandable. I think a lot of people queue up for the Berghain because it's such, let's say, a club that everybody wants to go get into. Not necessarily wants to go to, but just want to get into because it's such a popular club. So yeah, and I understand if you're a tourist and you're spending 2 or 3 hours in the line and you get rejected, then your night is ruined, especially if this was the only night you plan to go out here. So the next one says, most stupid place to wait for an hour in the queue just not to be allowed in. Seems like the arrogant security guards just love to play God in their little province. Yeah, I feel you. This is basically how the vibe goes. It's funny because I got rejected twice as well. Not from Berghain, but from a different club. Actually, it was Palomar, which I used to do parties afterwards. I was used to do parties at. But yeah, one night I was with another friend of mine. We were just talking, catching up. We haven't seen each other in a long time. We're like really in a positive mood, and we come to the first club, which was, or like bar, was Palomar. They didn't let us in. The second bar didn't let us in either. I'm not going to mention the name because I'm kind of ashamed that I even went there. But yeah, it happens, sometimes it just sucks and it's really, not nice, basically. Moving on to the next one. Waited for 5 hours and was let in. I was freezing cold and everyone was wearing coats and hats. The bouncers didn't. Yeah. 5 hours is a long time to wait, to be honest. I couldn't. 5 hours to get in anywhere, I wouldn't do this. Okay, maybe one exception. If Carrie Chandler was playing somewhere and I have a guaranteed entry, but I had to wait 5 hours, I would do it. But it is a long time for sure, especially in the cold. But yeah, and the bouncers, I guess they're just like hardcore, standing outside. But yeah, they also get in to warm up, I assume. Okay, cool. Another one is, the door policy is outrageous and unacceptable. Unacceptable. Cool. I was let in, no problem. The place that pretended to be inclusive, a place for artistic expression and freedom, should not behave like that. Shame. Selection by the way you look, to me, has another name. Such practices are banned by law in many countries. Shame. Germans and foreigners should boycott. Yeah, well, door policy is a thing. I think it's really necessary to actually have a door policy and to see what kind of vibe you want in the club. I always think of it like this. So the bouncer also kind of has information about how many people are inside of the club. Let's say you have girls, you have guys, you have groups, you have other kind of different categories of visitors. And to have the optimal party, you need a certain percentage from each category of visitors, basically. And I think this is also the thing, especially if only guys come in. If you have 90% guys inside of the club, I don't think it's going to be a nice vibe. And so I think then, they have certain kind of idea in the head to have certain percentages from certain categories. And sometimes this category where you belong is just filled up. So it's not really about you personally, but it's also about what is already going on inside. And so I understand this in a way. But obviously, if there's only capacity for so many people and thousands and thousands of people are waiting in line to get in, I get it. Then you need to reject most of the people, and that's not nice. We're gonna go to some reaction videos, and for that, I'm gonna need my headphones. And yes. And so what I'm gonna do right now, because I'm kind of tired of pausing or cutting the actual reaction, because I usually try to listen to the track longer than just a couple of seconds that I show on the YouTube videos, but YouTube keeps putting in the copyright stuff, which is a bit tough to do. So I'm gonna upload the full version of this on Patreon, and so you can go ahead to Patreon and watch this episode, the full episode, with the complete reaction to the videos, basically, or to the tracks. Until then, we're just gonna do it like this. I'm gonna upload the short version on YouTube, as you're seeing here, if you're watching on YouTube. If you want to support the channel and want to support, keep doing these videos and doing a lot more fun videos, it is possible to go through Patreon. Yes. All right, so we're gonna get into it. The first track is by Jaytea, 17-inch Groove, and this track was premiered on Berlin House Music, and I think it's just released. Cool, let's listen to it. Jaytea, 17-inch Groove. Yes. Because I was waiting for it. I was like, is it coming? But it did come. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I just paused it. It's really nice. Old school house music sounds. I think clean drums and a deep bass line as well. And it was teasing a little bit in the beginning as well, on whether or not it's gonna, give us a little bit of that juicy rhythm to bounce to. All right, the next track is Diego Palomar, Disco Loco. Yeah, let's have a listen. Yes, I love those organs. I think they're organs. Yeah, dope. Gonna skip it a little bit further, and the bass line is fat as well. Juicy. I dig. So, the next one we have is by Dan T, Wrong Time, and this one is another release on GLB DOM. Super dope. Let's go for it. Yeah. From the beginning, straight off, you can hear already what's going to happen with this track. Yeah, and the funny thing about this is actually that this is like kind of my favorite type of house. One of my favorites. Rhodes, dope drums. I think is very important. House drums, 909 in this case. Yes. This is the lovely thing about this. It's very simple, and that's the strength of it. Super dope. Yes. Okay, so this one is actually coming soon on vinyl, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is, and it's the classic Wax 01. So yeah, I'll add a link to the track, and on there you'll find the buy link as well. Super nice to have on vinyl, I would say. Cool. Moving on to the next one, which is actually a release on Berlin House Music. I think, yes, it just got out or about to be released today. Yeah, by Colau, and it's called House Down on Berlin House Music Records. Let's go. And obviously, yeah, still kicks in. Obviously, I've heard this a lot of times because, made sure that it got released on the label. But it still catches me every time, basically. Yes. House Down. It's dope. I love it. Thank you for releasing this actually on the label as well. I'm really, really happy to have this lovely house sound on the label. Let me check for the release date actually. Yeah, so it's available now on Beatport. It's a digital release. You can also listen to it on Spotify and all the other online platforms basically. This was Colau, House Down. And yes, this brings us to our final track for this weekly update. And this track is by Bruno called Backstabber, but it's the Philippe Gordon Deep Funk remix. And I'm a huge fan of Philippe Gordon, and I also really like Bruno Bar's music. I've been doing a lot of premieres for him as well. And hopefully one day also release on Berlin House Music. Let's listen to this one because Philippe Gordon's vibes just, it's amazing. You see, and this snare, which you hear in the background, that's just so old school house. I love this one. But I think it's, for me personally, I think it's hard to get it right. Because you can easily just mess it up. Oh yeah, this vocal. This is approved. Well, who am I to approve, to be honest? This is such amazing music. You know, it speaks for itself. And yes, I think this is basically it for this weekly update. And I think in a couple of days the next video will be up, which will not be a weekly update but an actual video. So looking forward to sharing that with you. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, see you next week on another weekly update. And yeah, I mean, enjoy the weekend. The week is done. It's Friday. You can go out to the parties I mentioned, or you can wait till tomorrow and have a very good party at Oxy with the Small Great Things crew at the Small Great house party. I'm gonna be there as well. Cool. This was fun. Thank you for watching, and see you next week. Cheers. Peace. Usually I say peace. Peace.